Okay, so I've got the bulk of the modelling done for the exterior, and now I want to put the stairs in that go from the one level to another. So I'll start with the lower stairs because they're simpler apart from anything else, and then I'll move up to the stair that goes from the ground floor to the first floor, and that's a bit more complicated. So when you're doing stairs, the first thing you need to think about is the floor-to-floor height, and this is true whether you're doing a stair in a CAD program or when you're drafting freehand. You still go through the same thought process. So in this case, we've got a stair that starts on the lower ground and then goes up to the ground floor. And so to work out the number of rises, also the height of the rises, first I need to know the number of rises that I want between these two levels. And to get an idea of that, I need to know the height from one floor to the next. Now, you have been given that. I just can't see it on these drawings. Oh yes, here we go. So, it's not shown on your section, but if you look on the lower ground floor level and the ground floor level plans, you've got an RL for, definitely for the lower ground. Can I see the RL? Looks like someone's whited out. That's great. Someone's whited out the RL for the ground floor, but I think I did work it out at in some way. And then you've got it again for the first floor. So let's have a look at what I've worked out. I think I did work this out before. Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick calculation to make sure that what I've got there is right. So at the moment we've got on the first floor level 97.5, and then on the lower ground level you've got 91.85. Is that right? Yep. 91.85. So the difference between those is 5.65 and divided by 2, 2825. Okay, so we've got a problem there. Does anyone know what the RL for the ground floor should be? Don't know why they've taken it off these drawings, but let's see if we can work it out. We should be able to work it out. Because that's not a good height, 2825. So let's go back to what it was before. So 5.65. Now, if it's got 15 and then the other one has 17 rises, that means the height from the height from the ground floor to level 1 is more than the height from the lower ground floor to the ground floor. So let's put that in. So 5.65. In other words, 5650 is the level 1 height. And I'm going to also dimension in the height from each level to the next. Now, what I've got there might actually work pretty well. So 2700, or even on the section, the dimension might help us. Yeah, let's just say it's that. So that means it'll have, they will go a little bit higher. So I'll change the ground floor to 2750, and that leaves 2900. That should work pretty well. But now my roof level's too low, so I'm going to change it to, let's see, let's just try 2750 for that as well. That one we can change later if need be anyway, because there's no stair going up to that level. You can change the other level heights as well, but you don't want to change them too much because then you'll need to redo the stairs because you might need a different number of rises. So you want to get these basically right before you go and put the stairs in. So 2750, let's just make sure that works with the number of rises we've got now. So 2750 divided by 15, it's 183, so that works. And the other one, 2900 divided by 17, $170, so that works as well. Okay, so I'll go with those floor heights. Okay, so back to the lower ground floor, now I can draw my stair. Okay, so on the Home tab, you've got the Stairs tool. And when using it, you can see over in Properties, it'll start with a desired number of rises. Now, you've got to check that. So you can see there, it's given me 15, which happens to be what I want, but you need to make sure that's right. You also should check the tread depth. That's okay as well. 250 is what I'm after. And now I'm going to measure using the ruler between the two corners of my wall, and you can see that's 1000. So my width there, 1000, is okay as well. So to draw the stair, I'm going to use the Run tool. So on the ribbon there, you've got the Run button. And notice I've got a centre line between my two walls. That's really important. I've used the reference plane for that because it gives me a point I can use to snap to draw my first step. I'm going to start there, and then taking it to the right, you can see it counts the number of rises. So I've got 7 rises, created 8 remaining, going further to the right, it's going to give me more rises until I get to 15 created, 0 remaining. So all the way at the end of the rectangle. If you go too far, it doesn't matter. It won't create any more than the number you've put in Properties, the desired number. Okay, so that's giving me a stair, and I'm just going to finish that stair for now, and then we'll have a look in 3D at what it's given me. Right, now I've got a section box view that's cutting away and shows me the railings that have been made for the stair, but I can't see the stair. So I'm going to use the section box now to bring this cut area across so that I can see into the area where the stairs come up. So you can see there's a couple of interesting things that happen there that aren't so obvious from the plan. You've got a wall that goes alongside the stair, that's okay. That wall essentially will continue up into the wall that comes up alongside the stair on the level above. But then you've got a wall, maybe it's a bit hard to see, but this wall here goes into the stair. You can just see, oh actually, so I've got to bring this one down as well before you'll see that. Also, I've got to cut a hole for the stair in the floor. So the stair's okay, but now I've got to modify those objects that are adjoining it. So first thing maybe is to cut a hole in the floor around the stairs. I'm just going to select that that floor and go to the ground floor plan now. Click Edit Boundary, and I'm going to use the line tool, or actually, yeah, I'll just use the line tool, just to draw along the edge. Now notice I'm drawing along the edge of the stringer because in this case, the string is going to be recessed into the wall. Okay, so going over the stairs there. So you all know what a stringer is, hopefully? No? You don't know what a stringer is? Okay, so a stringer is the thing that holds your stair up, that goes alongside the stair on either side, the bit of timber that goes diagonally. I can actually show you that in the image I've got open. I'll just come back to that in a second. So, where was it? Okay, so that's your stringer there, that diagonal piece alongside the stair, and there's a little one there as well. Okay, so that's the shape that I want cut out of my floor for the stairs. Now, it may be able to be smaller. I think looking at the level above, it does come back a little bit on the left-hand side, but we'll adjust it afterwards for that. So for now, that'll do. I'll just finish that. And it's going to ask me, do I want to attach? No, because I've done all the attaching at once. I'm going to say no, and then yes to the second question. Back in the section box view now, and you can see much more clearly what's happening with the stairs, or where the walls need to be adjusted now to work with those stairs. Now I can adjust the wall in the in this 3D view, but it's actually easier in a section view. So I'm going to go back to my lower ground floor plan now. I'm going to make a new section just for working on these stairs. Okay, so I'm going to use the section tool there. I'm going to make a section alongside the stairs, looking right at them. Might even take it past so I can look at the retaining wall as well. Double click on the arrowhead to open it up. So it's much clearer there where the how the wall needs to be adjusted. But you can see also my string is still there, getting in the way. So I want to turn that off. I'm going to select the stair, and then I'm going to click Edit Type, and I'll duplicate that stair, and I'll just call it Interior Stair. Right, so I'm just going to go down the list there and set the right stringer and the left stringer both to none. And then OK. Now that you can see the railing's gone a bit funny, I'm going to fix that as well later. So most importantly though, I can see now just the steps and no stringer. We don't need the stringer here, so looking in the 3D view, you can see it's also much neater there. Back in the section, now I can select my wall. Now it's a bit hard to see clearly here, but using Tab, you can see there's the wall. If you're not sure if you're getting the right one, just go to your section box view and you can select it there. So back in my section, I know I've got the right wall selected. I'm going to click Edit Profile. And now I can adjust the shape of the wall so it goes around my steps. So I'm just going to use Pick Lines. I'm going to pick the back of each riser and the bottom of each tread. And if you do it the right way, it'll join them automatically. Otherwise, you might need to go and trim some of these afterwards. Okay, so now to connect that to the ends, I just can use Trim. Finish, and then in the section box view you can see that wall is cut around the stairs. So that's a detail that isn't so obvious when you're just looking at the plans or even the sections. It's easy to miss that detail. that wall, right, in reality, would have to have been cut around the stairs. I know a lot of designers who would design a full project and then not even realise, and the builders will work this out for them on site. But it's much better if you can work it out, because then you can do your other details properly. Because you'll notice in the plan there's a cupboard that goes in there, and it might look from the plan as though the cupboard is virtually full height, even though the stairs are shown going into the cupboard. It may not be so obvious that the cupboard on the left hand side is actually quite low, the storage space that you have there. Okay, so now this wall needs to be brought down. Now you can see that the wall here actually extends to the end, and we don't want that, so I've got to fix that first before I can bring it down. So back in the lower ground floor plan, on this end it's okay, but on this one it needs to be brought back. So I'm going to use the wall joints tool and just clicking to select it, making sure I get the right one. There we are. And then next, and you can see now that it's brought this wall across. So I'll just cancel out of this so you can see now this wall extends to the end, not this one. And that's really important. If you don't change that, you've got to go and use Edit Profile again to fix this wall, when really all you need to do to make it work is drag it down. You can see now all I need to do is use the arrow at the top to drag that down so that it sits underneath this step, and you'll get a message telling you that the highlighted elements join but don't intersect. That's fine. Just hit Unjoin Elements. Okay, so you can see now this wall comes down. Now I'm just going to hover over the stairs to make sure that the wall edge is... So that's where my wall finishes. Looking at this, that should be okay. But let's just double check in the section box view. Yeah, that's no, that's not great. Okay, so the wall does stick out a little bit there, so it's got to come down a bit more. Sometimes it's easier to do this in a 3D view because you can see a bit more clearly what's happening. Okay, back in the section view, you can double check that height. Now, you can see there it's getting a bit hard to find out what's going on because I'm doing this behind another wall. So if you change to wireframe, you can see a bit more clearly what's happening. So there we go, something like that. Should be okay. It doesn't need to be perfect. As long as you can still see that wall in plan, and I can, so you need to be able to see that in plan. That's why you can't just take it away altogether. Okay, so my stair's looking pretty good in the section box view there. You can see there's nothing in the way of it anymore. So now I can put the wall on the level above that goes around that. Now this is a funny one. I think it's actually a bench sitting on top of a wall. I've never been sure with this. For now I might just do a thick wall, and then later on if you need to you can change it to a bench. Okay, so on the ground floor plan, just going to draw a wall using generic wall. So I'll start with one of these, generic 230, edit type, duplicate, and I'll make it generic 250, edit structure, and finish face exterior is fine. Oops, starting on the top. So just doing a U shape around the stairs there. Come back afterwards and change the height. Just selecting those walls with tab, and I'll set the unconnected height there to 1000. Back in the section box view, you can see that's getting there. Exactly, yep. Yep, that's it. So now I've got these railings which need to be fixed. Now you would still have handrails there, but they wouldn't be like this. So I'll show you how to get handrails from another file. You can't just load them in. What you need to do is open a file just using the open button, the way you'd open any file. So click open, go to your metric library, and you see there's a sample files folder with a railings file in it. That way you'll get this message. Okay, so the one I want is this one here, which is a wall-mounted handrail. Now, yeah. Okay, so handrail pipe wall is its name. It's worth remembering that. You'll see why in a minute. So I've got it selected. Now Control-C will copy to the clipboard. Control-Tab will switch back to the file that I was just in. And then Control-V will paste that handrail into this file. Don't worry if you get a message about duplicate types, just click OK. I'm just going to click somewhere to place it. Now, it doesn't matter where, anywhere. Okay, so I've brought in my new objects. Notice the stair came with it as well. I don't care about that, because now I'm going to delete those objects. But what you can see now, if I select this handrail, is that I can go to the list and choose the new one that I've just pasted in, handrail pipe wall. Much faster than trying to load it in any other way. Trust me, it's easily the fastest way. So this one, again, you can select the new one. Now, I've got a bit too much handrail there, but that's okay. I can simply select one of those handrails and in my, maybe the ground floor plan, edit path, and just bring the end back a little bit. Do the same on the other side, so I'll finish that one. Ah, okay, it's still wrapping around, that's annoying. Let's see if we've got, oh, I know what it is, sorry. Yeah, okay, so they've used a little trick in here. So I'll just show you how to fix that. Go back one step. So I'm just going to undo the stretching that I did. That isn't necessary. So I'm just going to, with that handrail selected, go to Edit Type. And then for baluster placement, you click Edit. And then the baluster family, I'm going to set to none for the start post and none for the end post down the bottom. So there we go. Let's take it off both sides. Back in the section box, you can see there we are. I've got a handrail. Okay, now it's starting to get there, but what do you think's wrong? There's something really obvious. Well, not obvious, but there's something really wrong with this still. If you're going to do a 3D view that shows this stair, yeah, there's a gap. There's a gap between the floor and the wall. So again, another one of those details you can't pick up just by looking at the plan. And again, a lot of people wouldn't be aware of this until someone goes to build the thing and realises that there are things missing from your drawings. So you can get around this by modifying the wall that we already have. So I'm just going to select this. Well, I'll start with the one on this side because it's easier to do it first. Okay, so that wall selected. I'm going to go to the section view again. Click Edit Profile. And then I'm going to add a line that follows the angle of my steps. Now, it doesn't need to trace the zigzag pattern like I did with the other wall. You can just follow the angle like that. It's actually going to look neater if you do it this way. And then using trim, you can join this wall and this wall. And then I need another line for the back of this riser. Yep. Let me just see the front. Sorry, the front of the riser. Yeah. And then again, I can just use trim and join those together. So I've added this little triangular section to the end of the wall. Finish, and in the section box view now, you can see it's filled in that gap. You may need to check that your plan still looks okay, and it does, so that's okay. Even though the wall is coming out to here, in plan it's still showing finishing there. So I've got to do that with the other wall on this side. Okay, so back in the section view, edit profile, and here, because I've already done the work on the other wall, I can just use pick lines and pick the lines that I made from the first wall, and now just use trim, join those together, finish, and it's nearly done. Okay, so that's all coming together, but I've got this big ugly line coming through where my floor comes through between the walls. So last little trick to fix that up, back onto the ground floor plan. I've got the floor selected. I'm going to click edit boundary. I'm actually going to bring these lines to the outside of the wall underneath, not the wall above, but the wall coming up from the level below. So I want those walls to extend through. Now here we've got to do something different, but there I'm just going to bring this across about 100 mil. Now it doesn't need to be that accurate here, as long as it looks about the same as the others. And it ended up being 100 anyway, but it doesn't need to be exactly 100 there. So I'll finish that. And again, I'm going to say no, and then have a look in the section box view, and you'll see what's happened. Okay, so notice how now I've got the wall coming up from below, because remember before I told you not to attach those walls, but to use join geometry. So now that the floor isn't there, that wall's come back up to its original height. On the Modify tab now, I can use Join and join the lower wall to the upper wall. So that gets rid of the line between them. Same thing here and here. Any other little bits you've got, so this wall here coming through, I can join to the wall above, and there's just something missing there. That's that wall. I think I'll just fix that a different way. Yeah, this wall, okay, so back on the ground floor, this wall extends to the end. Rather than fiddling around with my wall, with my geometry, I can just use the wall joins tool there and change that, oops, get it right, change that so that this one extends through. And that solves the problem. So back in the section box view, you can see that's now right. But I've still got a problem here where this wall, where this floor is visible below that wall. Now I'm trying to get a better view to show you. What I might do is actually bring that section box across now, so you can see what's happening inside there. Okay, so I brought the edge of my floor back, and that's so, looking at the floor, it's 150. So what I can do now, select this wall, is make the base offset minus 150. And this is the way you would detail it in real life. Okay, it's not good practice to have a floor sticking out with a wall on top. Looks much nicer if the wall covers the edge of your floor, yeah. Which they do with lining in real life, but in here we need to draw it up a bit differently. So, okay, so now my unconnected height is still 1,000. To make it go to its original height, I've got to change that to 1150, adding in the 150. So that's covered up the join, but to make this look nice and neat, now I can use join geometry, join the floor and the wall. So nice neat join there. Okay, so I know a bit of work involved. The stair is actually probably the easiest part, But it's important to think about all those other parts where it connects around the stair. And if you get that right, you know, when you go to do your interior views, they look much, much better. If it's messy, it comes up straight away. So looking at the camera view through this area now, can easily have a 3D view. So just get a view that's looking down. I've still got to put the ceilings in, I'll do another video on that. But I can do a view now that looks down those stairs. It's fairly neat. Oops, gone back a bit too far. Let's just go forward a bit there. A bit further. Oops. Okay, last thing, my handrails, you can see, do stick into my walls a little bit. That's a fairly easy thing to fix, but to check what you need to do, it's worth having a look in plan view. I'm just going to again go to wireframe here to see if I can pick up the mounting of the mounts of the handrail. I can't, so I'm going to make yet another section view. It goes through the other way. Okay, and there, I should be able to see them. So let's have a look in wireframe. No, still can't. That's annoying. So it's only in 3D view, which is a problem because I've got to use guesswork there. You can see the mounts have ended up inside the wall. Now, because I can't measure that, I'll need to just guess how far across I need to move it. That's all right. So with the handrail selected, I'm going to use Edit Path. I'm just going to nudge that path after I've selected it, just nudge it down a little bit. Something like that. With the arrows on the keyboard. Tick to finish it. Have a look in the 3D view. See if that's enough. So, almost there. Back in the ground floor. Edit path. Select it. Nudge it down a bit more. Tick to finish it. Back in the section box. And there we are, my mounts are visible and they're pretty much on the surface of the wall, I think. Okay, so now back in my plan, I can select that path, edit path, and check that distance. So I ended up with 50 mil. So I'm going to do the same on the other side there. I don't need to work that out again. I can just select the path, edit path, and then using move, I can bring that up 50 mil. Tick to finish, check the view, and sorry, I won't see it there, but in the perspective view, there we are, it's now sitting on the surface. Okay, so I know there's a bit of work involved, and I've told you before, this building is a bit more complicated than it looks when it comes to the details, but it's no different to a lot of other buildings that sometimes look simple, but a lot of modern, supposed minimalist looking design can actually be quite complicated when you get to the details to make it look so clean. And that's really the secret with a lot of modern design. More old-fashioned buildings, they use a lot of the tricks, a lot of the ornamentation, things like cornices and other moulding. It's partly decorative, but the real reason those things evolved is to cover up some of those issues that I had to work out. Exactly. Yeah. So I'll do another video for the other stairs and the ceilings as well. I'll do that in another video. But that should give you plenty to go on with getting that stair done.